Example 4. Edith babysits for X hours a week after school at a job that pays $4 an hour. She has accepted a job that pays $8 an hour as a library assistant, working Y hours a week. She will work both jobs. She is able to work no more than 15 hours a week due to school commitments. Edith wants to earn at least $80 a week working a combination of both jobs. We're going to write a system of inequalities that can be used to represent the situation. Then we will graph these inequalities on the set of axes below. And then we're going to determine and state one combination of hours that will allow Edith to earn at least $80 per week while working no more than 15 hours. Let's start with the first part. We need to define our variables. Reading the problem again, it tells us X represents the hours a week at her after-school job. And it also tells us that she's working as a library assistant Y hours a week. So the problem defines our variables for us. Now we need to go back and identify the information that will allow us to create our two inequalities. The first inequality I see is the one that deals with the money. It says that her after-school job pays her $4 an hour, and her job as a library assistant pays her $8 an hour, and she wants to earn at least $80 a week. So when we write this out as an inequality, we have 4x plus 8y, and 80 is our total here. Let's think about this phrase, at least. Does this mean that we want to get more or less than $80 a week? At least means $80 is the smallest amount of money we want to earn, but anything over $80 is awesome. So we want to earn greater than or equal to $80. Our second inequality is the one that I said you have to really read the problem and understand in order to find it. The piece of information that this comes from is this sentence right here. She is able to work no more than 15 hours a week. So that means all of the hours she works at her after-school job, plus all of the hours that she works as a library assistant, have to be no more than 15. She cannot work more than 15 hours. So this means we want to stay less than or equal to 15. Remember, this inequality is the one you need to be careful of and really read the problem and understand what it's talking about. Now that we have our two inequalities, we want to graph them. The first thing we want to do is subtract 4x from both sides. This will leave us with 8y is greater than or equal to negative 4x plus 80. The next step is to divide each term by 8. This will leave us with y is greater than or equal to negative 1 over 2x plus 10. Now we can type this information into our calculator to find our table of values so we can plot points on our graph. We hit the y equals button on our calculator and we type in negative 1 over 2x plus 10. From here, we hit second, graph, and we look at our table of values. As you can see, there are some very easy to plot points like 0 and 10, 2, 9, 4, 8, 6, 7, but there are also some tricky points like this one, 1, 19 over 2. I'm not going to worry about this. I'm actually going to skip over that point when we're writing out our X and Y table. After we have copied down the nice, clean, easy to plot points on our table of values, we can go ahead and begin plotting the points. After plotting all of the points to cover the entire graph, we're going to go back and we are going to analyze our inequality symbol. For this problem, the symbol is a greater than or equal to symbol. So we're going to ask ourselves those two questions. Are we connecting our dots with a solid or a dashed line? And are we shading above or below the line? Because this has the equal to symbol, we are going to connect our dots with a solid line. And because it is the greater than symbol, we are going to shade everything above this line. Please remember to shade lightly because we still have another inequality to put on this same graph. After you've connected your dots and done your shading, your graph should look something like this. Let's go to the next inequality. We must remember to write it in y equals mx plus b form. So the first step is to subtract x from both sides. This leaves us with y is less than or equal to negative x plus 15. Now we can input this into our calculator to get our table of values. We can copy down these points and plot them on the graph. After plotting our points, it should look something like this. The last step is to analyze our inequality symbol. For this inequality, we have a less than or equal to symbol. Ask yourself those two questions. Are we going to connect our dots with a solid or a dashed line? And are we shading above or below this line? Because we have the equal to symbol, we are going to connect our dots with a solid line. And because this is a less than symbol, we want to shade everything less than this line or everything below the line. After doing that, your graph should look like this. The solution set is the part of this graph where the shaded regions overlap. It's the area of this graph where the red and the blue combine. It's this small section right here. We're going to label that with an S for solution set. Part C. Determine and state one combination of hours that will allow Edith to earn at least $80 per week while working no more than 15 hours. This just means to find a combination of hours or a point that will satisfy both of our inequalities. So we are looking for a point that is in our solution set. Our solution set consists of all the points within this area of the graph. So for example, the point 2, 12 is in our solution set. This is our x value and this is our y value. Going back to the beginning of our problem, this tells us that Edith can work for 2 hours at her after-school job and 12 hours at her library assistant job and still meet her requirements. Can you think of another solution? that will work?